Concentrate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to game number 5 of our Newcomers Free-for-All tournament. I am Jalbertman. I am here with Yarand, and we are going to be looking.
Hello.
He says hello. We are going to be looking at Scooby-Doo 2, Never Zero, Cake is what we decided on, and Doof. So had some of these people in before. In fact, I think we've seen all of them at this point, and very interesting to see how it goes.
So, do you like glass?
Yeah, yeah. This looks like a glass colony, and
And glass is double the price. And
right.
A robotics HQ
That
has
means
been
if you can
founded.
make glass, you can just
A
make
nomadic
money.
HQ has been founded.
Ah, cake, 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 cake.
A scavenger HQ has been founded.
Aluminum's not bad. I mean, there's that. And he
A
is at
nomadic
least
HQ has been
recognizing that he
founded.
is going to have to ship that iron, so he's kind of playing it like an expansive, just a little bit. Would have preferred to have seen him put the steel mills down on some aluminum.
you know, he's not going to have to worry about glass as much as Dow is going to. That's a big deal for them. They are expensive, they can ship it a bit easier, but it's so far away anyway, so I'm not very happy with that pound.
Never
You know what
zero.
else?
Oh, sorry?
You know what else is a problem?
Yeah.
Water.
Yeah, it is. There are core samples, though. So
Okay,
this is
that's fair.
this is not a long-term problem if you use core samples, but there's
A
nukes.
nomadic HQ
A
has been
robotics
upgraded.
HQ has been
I think I've
upgraded.
played this map as well, and I think I actually may have won it.
This
I
is
remember where I found it, I don't remember what.
this is the kind of map where experienced players and newer
A
players are just
scavenger
going to
HQ
approach it
has been upgraded.
completely differently. And I think we're going to get to see here, like a more experienced players would probably be
The
thinking,
black market is
drop the
online.
nukes, then might be looking at the core samples and be trying to find places where they don't think it's likely that you could core out resources successfully, such as, you know, if you've got an opponent with some water next to some aluminum, decent chance they grab some aluminum if they try to core sample there. You could make it very frustrating, but don't know if that's going to be a big deal.
You know what? I remembered what happened. I did not win this game. Uh, so the following happened
All
is
coming
that
back to
two
him.
players went for food immediately, which is something you don't see new players go for very much, because it's not a very obvious opening, because you're not securing any of your upgrade resources, but you're making use of the double food price with a really low water price.
Yeah.
And that is very good for you, and no one is doing that. And that is probably not terrible, but you really want to be in food now.
Which
The
none of
black
our players
market is
currently are.
open for business.
Yeah, unfortunately, Never Zero is going. Well, actually, they're moving into food, but they have that one electronics factory which I am unhappy about. It's making $5 per second.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why these net revenue values are being shown, and if you look at like, sure, you need electronics for the upgrade, but if you look at the amount of money that the tile is actually making for you, it's basically nothing.
And so let's
New land
let's
is
do a little math
available for
lesson here.
auction.
You need 40 electronics, as I'm imagining what Never Zero needs. Let me see if that bears out. Yeah. So you need 40. So 40 electronics, and you're making 0.25 electronics a second.
That's gonna take a while.
So something like 2-3 minutes from now, you've potentially made it to your next upgrade, maybe. But in that 2 or 3 minutes, again, it comes back to
Sold.
efficiency of claims. Other people, not that we are seeing very much of that, could be getting into not black magic tiles and actually just beating you. Maybe not in the industry of electronics, but just beating you to money. And then when you get your upgrade, they might be 2-3 upgrades ahead of you. Who knows? Not going to happen here. Never Zero first up to 3. Nobody seems to be taking advantage of adjacency. And that's going to make this one interesting.
That is going to make prices very, 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 very high. Now, Never Zero actually pushed to the upgrade now, and they are fixing their territory. They're doing it. They're putting 2 farms, 2 reactors.
Well, they are.
It's fine.
You know, it's just he went for the trouble of having the electronics, right? He clearly wanted electronics, so maybe so he's returned the claim. Okay, you know, lateral move.
Okay,
Just
it's a good move.
you know, if you wanted the electronics that badly, you should probably have gone into a triangle once you had the claims.
robotics
I'm not
HQ
saying that
has
would have
been
been a
upgraded.
really profitable way for him to go here, though he definitely has the aluminum, and that would be the most difficult portion, which is an interesting thing you don't often say about electronics. But
True.
it's not wrong to split his food and his electrolysis. Might prefer to see him just in food or electrolysis, whichever is easier. You know.
Yeah, power is also very high. Electrolysis reactors aren't very
Electrolysis,
good
I
in
always do
general.
that. Electrolysis.
It's a fun way of saying it
Yep.
as well. But yeah, they're making about $50. They're fine, but you could be making 150 in food, or you could be making tons and tons of bucks on power right now, or at least paying your debts, which is killing everyone except Never Zero because he is nomad and he doesn't have the same prices for power that other players do.
This was probably for Cake and overinvestment into iron. Oh, with that Mars quake, not necessarily the worst time in the world to have a lot of a resource coming in. He doesn't. What? Okay, so he has a
Scavenger
claim.
HQ has been upgraded.
I guess that was his aluminum mine, which he's. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Buy me and unleash me on your enemies.
I just. All right. So you want to have your claims next to your HQ. So.
Yep, and he can connect it.
Auction unclaimed.
It's
Bidding
not doing
closed.
much. Like this, I think the transition is fine. It's just mistimed. You don't want to make this transition yet.
Yeah, not when you're losing $14 on that steel mill, and you could instead be making 80 on aluminum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Kubadoo finally got to HQ level 3. Unfortunately, also
Time to
running
start
these
improving
own
everything.
production tiles, you really like buildings like to have friends. As Zaltar puts it, this electrolysis reactor would be making money if it had a friend.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's lonely here, and so it's sad, and it refuses to make money as a result.
Might like to
Yeah.
see some of the players who are behind, especially Cake, who really has an option. Would definitely prefer to see them going for bribe claim. Because, yeah.
The black market has been fairly quiet, and bribe claim is a really good way to catch up while it's still early in the game.
It is Cake's only option. You know? I mean...
A nomadic HQ
Yeah,
has
that
been
is also
upgraded.
true. When you're in D-Debt, you can only buy bribe claim essentially.
Bribe claim, cook the books. Soren says on a future patch he's potentially going to make return a claim happen, even if you're on D-Debt. Because, you know,
Yeah, that
it
would
should.
be great.
Yeah. I'm a little amazed that that wasn't, like, a first thing decision when he decided he was going to put return a claim into the game, was that, you know, since return a claim is supposed to be for players who maybe aren't as Johnny on the spot with their claims, it gets used differently, but that's kind of why it got put in, I imagine. You would
I
kind of...
think the reason it was put in was because of the expansion, because of nomads, because they essentially created a black market item and then just put it available for everyone.
Yes, and I recall Soren when he was streaming for the Nomad update. He explained that, you know, he kind of made Nomad so that if there was nowhere else to found, you could go Nomad and be okay. So I always just kind of took that as the reason we've put them here is so that the game is not so much based around being a perfect strategician, which is good, quite honestly. So, I guess what I'm saying is, it seemed to me like that would be the first thing you would think of, would be just return a claim should be available no matter what, so that you can always try to fix what you've made mistakes of, but we're just now getting around to maybe thinking that's a good idea. Cake going to $1.
Yep, on his way down, and Never Zero building an off-world, which I guess it's actually fairly cheap. He can still do the shift buy on Cake.
Going for an off-world,
The black
going
market is
for a
online.
farm. Might like to have seen him save up for a second advanced building of some kind. Maybe a solar panel, something.
They should be saving up money to press the red button
A
in a
scavenger
second now.
HQ has been upgraded.
Oh, yes, there is that too. There is always winning the game.
But apparently they're not necessarily going to get there, maybe?
Getting a hold
I
of
mean,
Cake
it's
for 40,000
like,
is a steal.
yeah, he's super cheap. It's not that important to actually get stock in him. I mean, it's nice, but it's not that important. The
The
important part is
claims.
to play, yeah, to press that
A
shift
robotics
button
HQ
and
has been
get the
upgraded.
5 defended stocks, so that you can get the +2 extra claims.
Plus, I don't think the algorithm really looks at the fact that you bought a $1 person. It gives you the same stock bonus. I think you just
Yeah.
mentioned that, but the point remains. Yeah.
And well, who's gonna pull the plug?
None of our
It's
players.
there.
It looks like Duet.
$16,000. You just sell some things and yeah, this is a thing. Maybe some players don't know. You don't have to buy always buy stock by stock. You can actually just press shift and then press buy if you have the money.
You
It
would
costs
be
more.
amazed how many off-world hotkeys involve shift. If you're playing off-world and you don't know what to do, you don't feel like looking up hotkeys, just hit shift and start pressing buttons, and you will be surprised.
Shift is a great button.
You know, it works. It is a really good go-to. If all else fails, I should have hit shift and done it instead. You can shift delete your buildings, I think, and that'll delete all of the ones of the same type attached to each other. That's really useful for high-level play.
A new
Yep.
claim is
Don't do it.
available for auction.
Neither do I.
Yup. But it's there.
So yeah, it looks like Never Zero is actually going to run away with this. They already have an off-world. They're making a lot of
Sold.
money. Scooby-Doo, unfortunately, taking way too much time just building these building by building without adjacency. Not really making enough water, which is another thing that I mentioned is going to be a thing on this map. Dow are a little bit behind, unfortunately, also with some of their lone buildings, but also just in general, they're sitting on a lot of cash. Like, they could upgrade easily if they sell out of food.
Yeah.
And that is a thing you have to recognize is
The black
that,
market is open for business.
I guess the auto sell feature is just not very. I don't know if new players necessarily even know about it.
So auto sell is
Remember it's in
control
the-
shift. So
Yeah, control shift and press on the minus.
yeah, so
to
regular
auto-
shift. I think there should be auto buy. I'm gonna keep it real. I think there should be. And the reason I think that there should be is because I have a theory about the perfect off-world strategy. And it involves spending your like excess dollars on just
A
one unit of
robotics
silicon,
HQ has been
one unit of
upgraded.
carbon, until eventually you've got stockpiles that no one ever saw. Your perfect stealth play. Will you win? I don't know. Never done it, but whenever I think about how I intend to improve personally as a player, for those who are looking for those hot pro strats, I think about how to better disguise my activities on the market from good players. Because good players see what you're doing, they see the prices being affected, but if you're just putting the resources in your HQ and hiding them for about 5-10 minutes until they're gone from the little line graph that you can see representing price and demand, then you can make some money on shorts. I don't know. Maybe you could do other things. Secret off-world nobody knows about. Who knows? But auto-buy would be the way to make that convenient.
Yeah, auto buy is a
The
feature
black
that
market
has
is
been considered,
online.
but
Oh.
Thorn doesn't like it. And frankly, I'm not sure I'm a fan of it.
Yeah.
It's difficult. It would be a very difficult feature to play around with well.
It would be easy to screw yourself over. You know, like our real stock market in real life. Where we do tons of auto buying and auto selling.
We have a hard-to-come-by land claim available
Well,
to the
in the
highest bidder.
meantime, Dow got to HQ level
scavenger
5. Now
HQ
has some
has
really
been
good
upgraded.
production. There's a lot of great tiles. Unfortunately, it's a little too late.
Yeah. Yeah. Not not gonna get past these two off-worlds, you know. Could start putting off-worlds up right now and just not make it. Doesn't have access to the hacker array, which Never Zero also has one of those, by the way. So in the event that you want to start playing the hack game,
Congratulations.
so really, really hard to see a way back into this. You know, a player with a more precise and more already envisioned strategy getting to this point might be able to turn a game like this, especially if Never Zero doesn't sell out of Scooby-Doo and start focusing on his new opponent. But I think Never Zero is just going to get away with this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm a little bit sad for Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I like his scavenger spot. I really do. I think...
Yeah, I think this spot is great, but you just have to make pairs or triangles of buildings. Otherwise, you're gonna get this far behind every time.
Yep.
One thing for them is, I think, that they don't use the auto supply feature, which is actually one thing that I don't necessarily like, that it isn't enabled by default.
Yes, I 100% agree. I think that there should be a section in the tutorial where it makes you press the auto supply button, and then it makes you go into options and turn on auto supply. It's an objective. Press the button to make auto supply be turned on for you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I just don't think that it's... I don't think the benefit of not having that is anywhere near actually being particularly beneficial.
So Scooby-Doo has a patent lab, does not appear to have gone into any patents. And it's not a huge deal market-wise because it's really cheap to get a hold of water, but I really don't like Scooby-Doo getting bullied out of what should by all rights be his water patch. Or at least he should have more than the one measly medium with no adjacency.
Yeah, that's also another thing for new players, is that new players tend to play rather slowly, especially if they come straight from single player,
Yeah.
where you can pause the game and just do everything at your own pace. It's very challenging to adapt to the speed of a multiplayer game, even though Offworld is a
Sedate.
yeah, it's more...
Sometimes in
It's a slower.
Off-World, it's like that crazy Wall Street stock exchange, and other times in Off-World, it's like you plant a garden, and you're kind of waiting for your flowers to grow.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it doesn't require a lot of action from you.
Yeah.
But there are still things that you need to do quickly, and this is kind of the thing we're seeing. This, if you build a patent lab, you want to queue up those patents ahead of time potentially, or just start them as soon as it goes. And you need to be in a certain rhythm, and that definitely comes with experience, and you can't just expect to get it immediately.
Al over here got into a patent lab and is actually using it.
Yeah, it's also a challenge to remember to use an advanced building.
Yes. I'm a little better. I'm a little better than most, but hacker arrays are my weakness, where when I put the hacker array up, I know I'm going to start ignoring it. And then something like 2 days later, I look at it and realize I did ignore it.
For me, it's usually, if I'm not in practice, I'm always very tardy with the advanced buildings.
I've been really suffering from that lately. Really. I'm just going with a whole new ranked strategy, where in ranked you just don't put down a patent lab, and you just wait till, like, last 3 days, put an optimization center down. It's not a good strategy, but it's a new one.
It's one of those things, where if you ask me, is that a good strategy? Well, I have an ultimate answer for you. It depends.
Yeah. That's that's my favorite thing about Offworld, is that you actually can't give someone advice.
The
not
black
universally.
market is open for business.
Yeah, not universal advice for sure.
There will always be a time where the economy shifts itself snake-like into a way that if you try to do the same thing every time, you lose. But, you know, there's standard
The world
openings.
market is assembled. Our fortune awaits.
But there is no standard game.
That's a very good way to put it, I think. So we're basically waiting for Never Zero to clean it up. He got some power money, he got a lot of life support money, he just surged ahead, and
He knew what he wanted as a
Yeah.
nomad. He wanted the ability to make glass. I don't know if that's where he made his money early on, but he definitely had the ability because he had the silicon.
not early on. I think life support was a lot more significant for that.
There's that too, you know.
And with that, they're going to
Yeah.
take another win, and that puts them at exactly how much? They have a second win, actually.
Well, all right.
So they're technically contesting a second place right now, but that's because our group finished first, and
Hey,
we do not know the results of the other matches yet.
who is contesting for first by being the only person with 3 wins?
Well, that would be actually Swockhole.
Wow. Okay. Trying to even, yeah.
Yeah, everyone went crazy over Ryuk, but they're actually in Group B right now, so
SV
they
was at
can...
Orfield?
Hmm?
Yeah, SV is parentheses at Orfield.
No. Oh, I think SV. Oh, right. SV was the
Subbing in
the
for at
sub.
Orfield?
No. He wasn't subbing for either field. He was subbing for someone else who didn't show up, and
Okay.
but they couldn't stay for the whole thing, so they had to leave. So
They got a second sub?
yeah, so it's a sub for a sub.
Okay. All right.
And
So SV is
you-
not secretly at Orfield, everyone. Sorry
Yeah.
for spreading misinformation.
And you know, when you need a player in for trading company, who are you gonna call? I love you, Adderfield.
Yeah, at Orfield,
You're
nothing but
always
love
there
out here,
for us.
man. Right? I think Adorfield was the one, yeah. Adorfield got a really nasty win over me that I've never recovered from, where I was up at level 4 as a scavenger in a free-for-all, and I was just looking to clean up the game, getting into those patents, and he was at level 1 as an expansive and was just hitting bribe acclaim, and he bought me. It was something like down to like the last $100 or something too. Like I could not get myself secured, and then after he bought me, he just goes, "LOL." I've never recovered.
You know, I think that would traumatize me for life as well.
So yeah, Adorfield, he's always gonna have my respect for little moments like that. Okay. Well, I believe that is
Well,
pretty much